Welcome back, my families. I'm gonna make pumpkin donuts. I've got here 200 grams of steamed pumpkin, 1 cup of plain flour. I use organic flour, or 250 grams. I've got here 1 tablespoon of softened butter, 1 teaspoon of dry yeast, 160 ml of full cream milk, 2 teaspoons of sugar, 1/4 teaspoon salt. Or you can put a pinch as well. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to mash up this pumpkin. You can use a spatula. I didn't remove the water from the pumpkin. That's its natural water when I steamed. One more ingredient I forgot. I'm going to add about 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon powder. Put the salt in it, the sugar, and the dry yeast. Combine it. Just give it a good mix. Pour in the milk and leave it for 10 minutes for the yeast to proof. Just mix it well. Cover it up with a cloth and let it rest for 10 minutes. And the flour will be 250 grams. As you can see, the cheese has proofed. You can see all the froth, and that's what I want. I'm going to pour the butter inside. Put the flour a little bit at a time. So I'm just mixing it. As you can see, the flour is a bit soft, the dough. So I'm just going to leave it as it is, let it rise. So I'm going to cover it back with a cloth, leave it for another, say, 40 minutes, and then we'll come back to it. Let's uncover. I did put on a lid because I don't want it to stick to the cloth. Okay, now I have to go with my hand. I need to add a bit more flour. So you can see the flour is... So we have to add more flour now. I'm using organic plain flour. That's something I noticed. If I use normal flour, my stomach always bloats. Anything with wheat. So if I use organic flour, I don't have that experience. I'm not sure whether I think that I'm lactose intolerant, but I'm not sure. So that's the only reason that I go for organic flour. So I'm going to transfer these to the... So we don't want it to stick. So that's what you have to do. When it's first time, when it's very soft, don't add any flour, let it rise. And then later when you are finally done, and if you're kneading it again, then you add flour. Okay, but I can't tell you how much flour to add. You just add a little at a time until you feel that it's not so sticky. Like this is still very sticky. So I'm going to add more flour. And make sure you're heating up the oil. Okay, let's transfer this to the board. Just scrape whatever is in the bowl, so you can knead it again. So you can see it's all stuck in my finger. As I told you, you may have to add lots of flour to stop it from being very sticky. To become better in making braids, in making donuts or any pastry, you have to do many times and you will get better. Every time if you think that it's not turning out properly, keep doing it, don't give up, and you will get it right. Because I showed someone online how to make it and she had a bit of difficulty. Now she's very good in making it, because never give up. That might be just slightly you missed something from the recipe. I will normally correct my recipe and make it right. If you follow my recipe, you should get it right. And if you're watching someone else's video, if you think it didn't turn up the recipe as they posted on the video, link it to me and I'll correct it for you. Sometimes people just paste it from another person's video. I use one of these roller, pasta roller, or it's also good for pizza. Let's see. Okay, let's just lift it on the bottom. This dough is also very nice. If you can make bread out of it, it will turn out perfect. I want it to be so thin, and let's cut it. And use a smaller ring for the middle. You'll get that part, just leave it aside. You can use that as a mini donuts. If you got kids, they would love these. You can cut it on a parchment paper. Sometimes it's easier for it to slide it, because if you're first time making it, probably I would recommend you using parchment paper to roll it on top, or you can cut a small, like in a square, the size of the donut, then just drop it, slide it into the oil. So I'm just going to lift up all these, and you can re-knead and reuse it. You can make noodles out of this, but because it's got yeast, you can't use for noodles. And I'll teach you next time the recipe for handmade pumpkin noodle or pasta. Not sure whether you can see. I'm just making it into a bowl. I'm just going to leave it aside and come back. Okay, just leave there. I'm going to take it across to the oil, which I can't show you when I'm taking it across, but I'll show you once I drop it into the oil. So you can use one of these spatula to slide it in. So just rub some flour so it doesn't stick to it, or very soft. I normally use hand. And you can reshape it. You can leave it on top of the spatula if it's easier. So it's going to be like that. I'm going to take it across so you can see now, and I'm going to flip it in a couple of minutes to the other side. so it will cook evenly on both sides. Donut is done. I hope you liked the video. Please hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching. If you want to have different kind of donuts, please leave it in the comment section and I'll make it up for you. And it's very hot still, so we're gonna pick one and try it. It is very hot, so I'm not gonna dust it with sugar, but you can dust it with sugar, or you can make it icing sugar and dip it in when it's cooled down. So I'm gonna take one that's not so hot. When you add like pumpkin to it, it will taste a little bit like mochi, but it's so good. It is yum.